It is truly a joyous occasion. Amen. Not just for our graduates and our students. Of course, I'm sure that you all have joy that it's the summer and that you have a break from school, but it's also a joyous occasion for all of the family and friends in this village that has just been integral in getting you all where you are today. And so let's give not only our students a hand, but also our family and friends in this Mount Olive Church family. Amen. Now I want to say to the graduates, let this be a lesson to you, because you'll go off, but when you come back home, you have to be ready to be put on the spot. So you just have to be always ready and stay woke. So, to Pastor Crutcher, Reverend Juanita, the ministerial staff, of course, my entire Mount Olive extended family. My immediate family, my father, my husband, and especially my dear mother, who made sure that I was going to find my way back to 2525 West Church Street one way or another. It is truly an honor to stand before and deliver the charge to these young, black, and gifted graduates and students. Because day in and day out, we are bombarded with images of what seems to be a deliberate and careless attack on our black youth. So it's definitely a blessing to be a part of a celebration of the future and not the funeral of one of our black children. It doesn't seem like over 10 years ago, but it was, when I was sitting in the same seat you all were, excited about the next chapter, but a little scared not knowing what to expect. Now, I know that all of you have sat through too many graduation and celebration speeches than you care to count, so I'll spare you, as DJ Khaled says, another one. But I would like to share a quick story about a young man, which I think will give you some encouragement as you enter this next stage in your lives. I'm reminded about a story about a young man, we'll call him Mo, who grew up in a time in society very much like ours today. Because even before he was born, the males of Mo's generation were identified and targeted. Now, I don't just mean in the sense that they suffered from an occasional inconvenience or confrontation with the police. I mean that literally, at the time Mo was born, it was law that the life of every male child born to his race would be cut short, for no other reason than the fact that they were born different. Even though the government had waged a war against Mo's generation, the favor and will of God prevailed. Despite man's law, God intervened and created a special opportunity for Mo in spite of the circumstances in which he was born. He was able to avoid the fate of many of his friends and relatives and never really wanted for anything. But deep down, Mo yearned for something more. It was not enough that he was given everything he wanted, because he noticed the problems facing others around him. So Mo decided he was going to do something about it. But because Mo saw violence all around him, the only way he knew how to react was violently. He got into his share of fights and was eventually expelled, separated completely from the comforts and family he was used to. But the good thing is that when society had decided that it was through with Mo, God was just beginning. Graduates, I know sometimes it feels like society has given up on you. Sometimes it may feel like your teachers have written you off. It will be hard not to have your parents and other family around to protect and guide you in every situation, especially when you are unsure what decision to make. But Mo provides a great example for us when it seems like we are unsure about where to go and what to do. When Mo's back was against the wall and he had absolutely nowhere else to go, he prayed. Now, by now, you may have guessed that I've been talking about Moses. So you may remember the conversation that Moses and God had in Exodus 3. It's funny because even though their conversation took place thousands of years ago, It sounds like the same conversation we have with God today. In Exodus 3, we see God giving Moses his marching orders for the next stage of his life. And God tells Moses all of the things he will accomplish through him and his brother, and that he will actually do impossible things like signs and wonders, which no one had ever seen before. But Moses' response was much like our response when faced with impossibility. Moses told God what we all have told God at some point in our lives: I can't. And to that, God replied, I know, so I will. When Moses told God that he couldn't go because he was a nobody, God replied, be humble, because I will be with you. When Moses insisted that he would not be able to stand up to a bully like Pharaoh, God simply said, sit down. My angels will stand in your place. When Moses reminded God that he was not a good speaker, and sometimes he stuttered, God chuckled and said, be humble, sit down, and I will speak for you. Graduates, whenever you get discouraged or you feel defeated, I would remind you to do what believers have been doing for centuries. Be humble, sit down. You see, like Moses, we mess up when we take matters into our own hands. We think that we have it all figured out and that as long as we control the situation, everything will work out fine. However, God has a way of reminding us to be humble, and he has a way of sitting us down. And when he does, we have no choice but to move out of the way so that he can move in. Now, don't get me wrong. I congratulate you all for the accomplishments and achievements each of you have experienced over the past year. However, you have to remember that it is not about you, but about the God shining through you. And as you enter into this next stage in your life, you will begin to learn many lessons, many new subjects, many new facts, names, dates, and equations. But of all the new things that you have and will learn going forward, don't forget those age-old words of wisdom. Be humble, sit down, and watch God do the rest. Thank you, and congratulations.